Hey everyone, welcome to today's video, and as the title says, I was in a K-pop music video. Here's a little story time. Before we get started, don't forget, as always, to like, comment, and subscribe, and put me back into YouTube's algorithm's good graces. Please and thank you, it would mean a lot. Not just saying that, please go do it right now. This is me with Yeri from the group Red Velvet, and this is actually the picture she posted on her own Instagram. This is so random because when we took this picture, I was saying, oh man, I wish she's gonna post somewhere where I can actually see it, because they took the picture, her team, and we had no idea where it ended up, and it actually ended up on her grid, which was crazy. And then on top of that, she even reposted it to her story, and I was thinking, wow, I've made it. I think a lot of people pretty much asked the same question, which was, how did you end up getting cast for something like this? And it was fairly simple. I live in South Korea as a full-time content creator, but I also do some modeling on the side, so I do get put up for castings on occasion. And I got put up for this casting. When you're asked about a casting, you actually don't really know what it's for. You just get asked, are you available these dates? And I was told it was a music video. And luckily, I was free those dates, and I said, yes, of course, put me up for the audition. And usually when you send over the audition, a comp card is enough. And if you don't know what a comp card is, it's basically a model's calling card, and it has our photos and basic info. And usually in Korea, that's enough to get you for a casting. But in this case, it was actually really interesting. They wanted us to come in for an actual audition because there was storytelling involved in the music video. They wanted to see if we can act into the role. The casting was actually in May, and it was on a random day, and there were 3 slots for the casting, all within the span of an hour and a half. I ended up going, and there was a bunch of us just sitting in a row in this random office. And inside was the agency that was managing all the foreign models for the music video, and then also the actual staff from SM. And then during this audition process, they kind of gave us a rundown of the concept of the music video. And at this point, I still had no idea who it was for. But based on the vignettes and the ideas they were giving, I could tell it was a girl group, but I didn't know which one it was. So I obviously could funnel it down like SM girl group. There were only so many to choose from. But again, it was purely speculation at that point. And then basically they wanted us to act out a couple of things, like look over here and pretend there's something here, and then look up and pretend you just saw something amazing. And then they wanted us to pretend to play an instrument and look kind of creepy, because the whole theme at that point was, we were told, was a midsummer vibe. Summer, floral, but also kind of creepy and cult-esque, which I loved. I thought that concept was amazing. I love the concept of midsummer, and it was very fitting because we were heading into summer at that point. But honestly, whenever I go into these castings, I don't really hold much hope for myself, because I am not necessarily what a lot of people consider foreign looking, because I am Asian. And so a lot of times I don't really get cast for these types of things. So I kind of just did the audition, laissez-faire, and then left, met up with my friend, and was just like, oh, it's just this casting, I'll probably not get cast, whatever. And then actually we heard back in a couple days, and I was cast. And it was amazing. There was about 8 of us who were cast, and we were gonna be the cult. We filmed the music video in May, and we actually were called in to film for 2 days. It was 2 separate days. So we filmed on a Wednesday, and then we filmed on a Sunday. Kind of weird because it wasn't back to back, but the music video itself actually shoots consecutively for all those days. So while we were not filming, the staff and Red Velvet and other people were filming. But the first day's casting was really early. I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, but on my story, I actually posted that I had a 3 a.m. call time, because it was insane. Because when it's a 3 a.m. call time, it's kind of ambiguous, because you don't know whether you should be sleeping right before or you should just stay up. Because I can stay up till 3, it's not a problem. But the problem is, can I make it for the full day afterwards? Because we knew it was going to be a really long shoot. And what's interesting again is I never know where the place is being filmed. So we're just told the pickup location and the time we need to be there. And they send a car, and we all met up, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're all just kind of not really sure what's going on because we're so delirious from being tired. We get in the car, and then we start driving, and they tell us it'll take about an hour or so to drive. We ended up driving, and at one point it's totally dark, and we drive out of the city. So we're driving out of Seoul, and we end up somewhere. And then I suddenly feel our car kind of moving and a standstill, and I realize we're on a boat. So they put our car onto a boat, and I had no idea how this even happened, because obviously I can't see. It's really dark outside. I just see us moving on this water really slowly, and I was like, where are we going? This is crazy. And I realized we just ended up on this island, this random island, a mini little island with a field, and it was I was like, this is insane. Like, what are we even doing today? Anyways, we get to set and the staff are there and they're still kind of setting up. So it's really, really early and we get put in our tent and we all slowly start going into styling. And then the stylist actually put me in a couple different outfits to see what worked and what he liked. And then we settled on my final outfit. And then we did our hair and makeup and that took ages. And when you're on these sets, honestly, there's just a lot of waiting around because they need to shoot other things in between and, you know, like your scene's not up yet. So you're just basically waiting to be called. We eventually get called in and by that point, it's actually daylight out. So we got in so early, but we actually didn't start shooting until the sun came up. And we went onto this field, and I found out later the field was actually where Big Bang shot one of their music videos. But it was this open field, gorgeous. The weather was very summery, there was sunshine, and very, very beautiful. And on the set, we see the massive flower pillar going on there with the ribbons. And then I see the massive wooden structure, which is the carrier that you see them carrying the girls on. It was real. That was real. Like it was made of wood. It was very heavy and they wanted a couple of us to carry it. Luckily, I was not one of the couple of us. And they actually brought in the staff, like the SM staff and crew to help carry it. And a lot of even like the men were dressed up in like the dresses and they put on wigs to kind of blend in with the scenery. But really because the actual structure was so heavy, there was no way the 8 of us could possibly carry it. So luckily, a lot of the bulkier, strong people came in and even some of the women came in and like were holding it. And we did a couple of rehearsals. We did a couple trial runs with some stand-ins for the girls. And then eventually the girls came, they walked in. I have to say, very, very professional. Not that I expected anything less. They've been doing this for a long time. But they came in and they said hi to everyone. They were like, hello, annyeonghaseyo. But we kind of just got right into business. There was not really much small talk because you want to get filming and get the shot and whatever. And I ended up standing near Sulgi and Wendy for the most part. And Irene was holding onto the structure. So we just practiced kind of like walking back and forth. There's a couple shots where we're just like walking back and forth. And we did that for a bunch of takes. And we did that for a lot longer than anticipated. And it was starting to get really, really hot. I remember, and all of us were like sweating. I remember the makeup artist just had to keep like powdering us. But really quickly jumping in. I kept forgetting to say stuff in the other video. What I thought was interesting, having been there to actually see the sites, was that there was some CGI in there that didn't look like CGI. So the fireball, obviously CGI. The part that we were walking with the wooden chariot kind of thing, where we were, it was all grass and greenery, but they actually CGI'd the reflection of a pond in there, which was really cool. And then also the part where we're walking through the trees, that background is completely CGI. There was no house there, light greenery there. It was actually just dark forest. And then how I ended up getting the photo with Yeri, it was actually, we were in the middle of a break in between scenes. And the girls had been taking photos for their photo cards, I'm assuming, and for Instagram or whatever. And she actually came over. And it was so cute because you could see like she was really nervous to ask us. And her staff were egging her on to ask. Like the staff were like, go ask them, go ask them. And then she came over and she was really cute. Actually, she was so lovely. She took up her courage and was like, excuse me, can we take a photo together? And we were like, of course, let's take a photo together. And then I believe it was her makeup artist or her hairstylist, took the photo. And it was on their phones. So I jokingly was like, oh, like, let's hope it ends up on her Instagram. And then it did. When Yeri came and talked to us, asked to take a photo, I replied to her in Korean because I could tell she was kind of nervous with her English. And she was so surprised that I spoke Korean. And actually, I was like, most of us actually speak Korean. 2 of us didn't speak Korean. But there was actually the grandma in the music video. She actually only spoke Korean and Russian, so she didn't speak English. After that, I felt like me and Yeri kind of had Jung, a forever bond, because after that, even at lunch, she sat across from me at another table and we exchanged pleasantries. Whenever we made eye contact, we just like smiled politely. Oh, she's so cute. She's so polite. She's won me over. But I had no idea when we took the photo where it would be, and I was just hoping I would be able to see the photo at some point. And because I don't have access to Bubble or Weverse or any of those things, it could also just disappear. We might never see this photo. What's a bit disappointing, I guess, when you're on these sets, they don't allow any photos. Obviously, the idols and their staff can take them. And I also saw a lot of the dancers take photos, but I think they're the dancers that are regularly used for the company, so they already know the rules, but we are kind of guests on the set, taking precaution to make sure nothing gets leaked, which I totally understand. but it is a bit disappointing because I want to take a photo. At least show that I was here and then I did this and that was cool. But definitely, you are never allowed to ask for a photo with the idol. That is a hard and fast rule on any set. So do not think if you're ever on these sets, you can go up to the idol and be like, oh my God, I'm such a big fan. Do you mind if we take a photo? No way. Also really quickly, I want to say, I saw a lot of people saying the human who was being brought onto our cult alien planet was a boy. She's a girl. I mean, I'm pretty sure she identifies as a girl. Her name is Chan, and she was a Korean model brought in for the shoot. And she wasn't necessarily a sacrifice. She was just being brought into the cult, from my understanding. I saw a lot of people saying she was a boy, and just to be clear, it's a girl. And the last scene we shot was us running around the flower tower with the ribbons. And that was so much fun, actually. We were all very tired at that point, but we got to like run around and holding the ribbons, and my ribbon kept getting tangled, which was really annoying. And then Yeri, I don't know what she was doing. Her ribbon kept getting like caught. So we had to redo it, I think, a couple of times because the ribbons themselves were just like hard to maneuver. And then there's one scene where we're running around and holding hands in a circle. And I remember Wendy, she was very polite. It wasn't my hand, but it was the girl next to me. The director had been like, hold hands, run around in a circle. And Wendy was like, is it okay if I hold your hand? Yeah, that's beautiful. That's called consent. We love consent. And she didn't have to do that, honestly. It's not like we minded, but the fact that she asked that, I think it sets a precedent for having a very comfortable set. I saw that from her, kept in the back of my mind moving forward. Even if the director requested it or whatever, always ask consent. That's just very polite. Like, that's just very, very nice. And then Silgi was quite nice. There was a scene we shot on the second day. She's dancing in this tub of water and we're kind of all surrounding her. For me, it was okay, but we had some older people in the cast and we had to get on our knees and hold the tub while she was dancing in it. And for them, it was really tough on their knees and they were getting bruises. She saw that and she was very concerned and she was trying her best to do her scenes quickly so that we could all stand up and not have to kneel anymore. The part with Sulgi in the pool, I just want to say shout out to her because I don't know if you guys can tell, the shoes they're wearing are super thick and chunky in those red outfits. Like, initially, the scene was to have her laying down, playing with the water while laying down. The other option was to have her standing up. She was such a pro, but they wanted her standing up and the tub is not fixed to the floor, so it's a little bit shaky and we're holding it, but we're also swaying. So the tub is kind of moving a bit and then her boots were a little bit slippery. So she eventually actually had to just take them off. But that tub was beautiful with the flowers. Oh my God. I see what people mean when they say she's the dancer of the group. She was able to improvise a lot of the dance of that scene. And I don't know if it made it into the music video yet because as I'm filming this, the music video is coming out tonight. But she held a flower in her hand and was dancing with it. And she put it in her mouth and was dancing with it. And that was actually not the original direction. And she kind of just looked at the flowers and decided like that would be great for the shot. The scene where I'm walking in and the grandma's holding my shoulders and the girls begin to dance, that scene was really funny to shoot because you can't tell, but the makeup I had for this shoot was so intense. And as the day got on, it just got progressively more and more intense. The makeup itself was just, they wanted us to look kind of plain village-like, so the skin was pretty plain. But then for me, under my eyes, all around my eyes, they created these kind of panda eyes, but with red eyeshadow. I was pleased with it because I'd rather it be intense than nothing. I'd rather it just go 100 if I'm gonna do it. And the whole time, me and the other models were joking that the motto of the shoot should be smile, big smile, because they wanted us to look crazy, right? Like we're in this crazy cult. And so the whole time we were supposed to have these serial killer smiles. So we're like, when we started filming, I'm actually facing the members. So I'm looking at the members and anytime I made eye contact with Joy, she would just start giggling. And I get it, but I would too, because imagine this girl you don't know just looking at you like a crazy person. And then I was just like, and I remember that specifically because we filmed that scene also a couple times. Every scene we film takes a couple takes. It takes longer than you think to film one shot that consumes 5 seconds of a music video. Not even 5 seconds, 1 second of a music video. It was a really fun shoot. It was a really fun set to be on. They fed us really well. The staff were also very, very kind. So I had a really nice time. I had a really nice time meeting the girls. And also the people of SM were very gracious to us. Red Velvet's Cosmic music video is out now, so go check that out and see if you can spot me in it. in the meantime, I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.